You know, part of me really liked starting up stream at, even numbers, but usually just like on the hour, not just at 10:36 or 12:36 or whatever time zone I'm in. How are you guys doing? My name is Sorencaster, and today I guess we'll be delving into the world of voice. Ow! I can hear my voice. Whoops. But yeah, I don't know. Woke up today and I thought, man, voice acting. Well, actually, I know the reason why I started thinking about it. It's because, well, Symphonia is relevant again. And, that was probably my first game where I noticed, hey, wait a minute. That's Robin. That's Scott Menville is his name. There he is. I don't know. As obvious by the tags on my stream, I dabble in some voice acting from here and there. And I guess that all spurred from Symphonia, really. And Tekkon King Crete is the other thing I remember hearing, the voice of Robin in. Oh, I don't know. I think ever since I was a kid, I really liked the idea of just yelling something, like yelling a bunch of attack names, right? I never played fighting games before, so I want to say the Tales franchise is kind of my first, well, experience with that in a video game. Because they did that in Dragon Ball all the time, right? They would yell out their attacks. I don't know. I think the thing in Dragon Ball is that they did that from the start, but then I feel like they stopped doing that consistently later on. Like after a bit, it was just like very obvious what they were doing. Like Kamehameha is the name of the move. Well, the Kamehameha wave is the name of the move. So I just kind of associated, Kamehameha as less of the move's name being said and just more of something you just say, right? So, when I heard someone in a game basically say, like, what were Lloyd's moves? I just know Demon Fang. Demon Fang! Like, over and over again. That was, formative in my life, I guess. Again, I didn't really play much of Symphonia. It took me a long time to get to the point where I stopped, and then I didn't even touch it for decades, really. I only recently finished it a few years back. Mostly because I was going through all the Tales games anyway, so, I might as well go with the one that was my first. And, it's a good game. It holds up, obviously. I feel like a lot of people hold it in high regard, and that's, probably, well, I don't know. It's a good game. But yeah, man, I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, I've just always been fascinated with the idea of, like, you become a voice actor. Yeah, you can make all these fun characters come to life and, input your own little yourself into, the characters that you bring to life. Kind of give them that texture to their voice that is all your own and, make people all across the world hear you as the de facto voice of so-and-so character. But I don't know. I've just always been into the idea of yelling out attack names. Like, don't ask. It's just a thing that I'm very much happy to be part of whenever I hear it, I guess. Like, you know, you get to hear a lot of cool voices when you actually look out for that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. And then when you start, like, at some point you start, like, you know, making your own stories, right? If you're a creative type, start writing stories, you start making OCs, you do all that stuff. And then you, like, kind of reach in the back of your mind of database of voice actors and, you know, people you've heard in games and shows and anime and stuff. And you're just like, oh, that person would fit my vision of what this character looks like. And it's like, you know, a dorky thing to really, you know, get all into. But I don't know, man. Like, that's just kind of how casting works. Be it, you know, real life casting or casting all in your head. Ugh. Have you guys ever voice acted before? I used to. I used to do a little. I dabbled, you know? I wouldn't ever really say I got super good at it. But when you sound like I do, a lot of people need generic protags. So, if you guys need a generic protagonist voice, I'm your man. Or, barely pubescent boy. It's always something that I've, like, wanted to get into. But alas, it was not meant to be. Even when I was in drama class in high school, I never really did much drama myself. I was kind of on the tech side of things. You know, I loved acting. I loved it. But doing it in front of others was always scary. I was shy. Except when I wasn't, because if it was people within my own class, I was just generally... I was willing to go all out and be stupid on stage, but... I don't know. I guess that transitioned into, you know, wanting to do some amateur voice acting on various projects that I will never show to the light of day. But it was fun, you know? Getting to voice, I was gonna say a variety of characters, but most of the characters I voiced were pretty similar. If we're being honest here. What is this? Yeah, I don't know. I get super into that kind of stuff. Sorry, I was just watching something random. also about voice acting, but whatever. We don't have to talk about it. God. I would still probably, like, if someone asked me to voice in a project, and this is not advertising or anything, I don't intend for anyone here to, please hire me. But I feel like if I would still be willing, right? I would still be super willing to voice in projects and stuff like that, but I feel like it's just been a while. I do want to still put out a voice pack. You know, what my limited understanding of what a voice pack is anyway. Just kind of to see if anyone would be interested in something like that, right? Like, if I put out a voice pack of me being, I don't know, like, be acting a bit more in character or, you know, whatever. Would anyone actually want to get that? Who knows? Sorry, I'm zoning out. I'm still zoning out. This is what happens when I try to, like, have, like, a topic for a save point. I feel so nervous about, like, actually sticking to it that I just end up not doing anything at all. Let's see. Voice actors. I'm not gonna talk much about Seiyu. They are very important and very talented, and, you know, everything that voice actors are, but, you know, like, I just don't listen to enough Japanese material anymore. Or, like, you know, Japanese dubs anymore. Mostly out of convenience, right? Like, simuldubs are always there now, and actually, that... Okay. My brother has been telling me to watch, what is this? What was this called? Licorice? Is it Licorice Recoil? Yeah, he's been telling me to watch that show recently. But even he was just like, you should probably watch the dub, just, you know, just to be able to keep up with it. Because he showed me an episode of it. And from what I watched, it was, like, very quick-paced. To the point of, like, even in English, I was having a hard time keeping up. And, you know, it seems like a good anime, a good series. Like, it's weirdly buddy cop, which I was not expecting. But you know what? I have a weird fondness for that kind of dynamic, so I might as well get into it. And from what I heard of the English dub, it seemed capable. It seemed promising. Like, the blonde girl, She's the handstand girl, if you guys have been looking online recently. I think her English voice does a really good job to the point where I feel like she's way more energetic than even the animation can keep up with. Which I'm not sure if, you know, I don't really know if that's a good indication of whether or not they're faithful to the source material or not, but, you know, who cares? She's just fun to listen to. Like, I feel like if you were to ask me who my favorite voice actors were, that's a hard thing right now. Because on one hand, you know, if there's a voice I hear all the time and I'm super into, of course, like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go. I love hearing how you sound. But at the same time, I'm a big fan of just not knowing anyone in the cast and just hearing something completely new to my ears, right? I want to say that's why I'm always super excited whenever I hear a game is like, you know, British dubbed, right? Because, well, okay, maybe less so now, because I'm starting to recognize everyone from, you know, the same circles over there. It's like, Adam Howden, again, you're great, but Joel, come on. I mean, you know, amazing voice actor. I will never get angry at the fact that he's in anything. Dasai, hello, hi. We're talking about voice actors. How you doing? Nice, nice. Like, yeah, I will never get upset at Adam Howden being in something. He is just too good at what he does, and what he does is usually yelling. But you know, it's like I'm starting to have an ear for it, right? Like, when it comes to British dubs. Like, for Final Fantasy, I feel like most people in that cast I can recognize. Dropping by before the carousel of meetings throws you a new one. Oh, jeez. Which VA am I talking about? I'm talking about the voice actor for Shulk, or, he's other people. I swear to God, he is other people, but... yeah, in Final Fantasy XIV's dub, I think he's, Pippin? Which, you know, I guess we would hear a lot more and would be a bit more obvious if Pippin had any lines since Stormblood. Aw, I feel so bad. For 2 expansions. 1 expansion, understandable, right? Shadowbringers is kind of its own thing. But Pippin not talking during all of Endwalker was kind of like, oh. No, please. You're Shulk. You're Shulk, come on. I want to hear you say something. Okay. Shulk's voice actor was in Endwalker. They were, oh my god, the briefs-looking motherfucker. Not Amalja, the Seed Seer, I forgot his name. You know who I'm talking about, though, right? Like, the dude, the Seed Seer man, the, dude with horns, red hair, bangs that cover his eyes, that guy. So we did get a little bit of Shulk. The voice of Fiora is obviously Tataru, and has been Tataru for, like, since the beginning. And, you know, I could recognize her voice any time of day, really. The very high-pitched, I actually really like Fiora's voice. I think it is, like... I don't know, I really like it. Playful, I guess is how I'd I mean, that's how all of her roles kind of sound. But I think she does a really good job of being, like, that amount of cheeky. Also heartfelt when she wants to be. Hold on. If I'm saying Adam Howden's name, I should... It's Karina Reeves, right? Hold on. Karina Reeves. Yeah. I remember. I remember these things. Like when it comes to English voice actors, I've been pretty obvious about my favorites, right? A big one was Billy Kometz, who has sadly passed away. But I don't know, he was he was a lot of my big faves back in like the mid 2000s. I mean, on this very channel, when I played 13 Sentinels, he was in it as a... Oh, what was her name? Hold on. Sorry, there are a lot of characters in 13... Ogata. Yeah. A very strong performance. Like, his entire thing, right, was he could either be the coolest guy in the cast or the dumbest guy in the cast. And you know me. You know how I feel about those type of characters. I don't know. Like, I can only really say this as a fan, but I'm gonna miss him. He had a lot of... I was really hoping that he would become like the next big voice actor in the industry, and sure enough he was, but I wish it lasted a bit longer. Who else? I like Zach Aguilar, otherwise known as the voice actor who is either not voice acting or yelling out for his sister in some form or fashion. He is he is the voice of Violet, the protagonist in Genshin, the male protagonist, or potentially the male antagonist. Aether. Who else? Tanjiro. He's Tanjiro. See, multiple characters who, like, he was also in 13 Sentinels yelling out for his sister. He's multiple... That is like, everyone likes to make fun of the fact that he is mostly silent protags. I make fun of the fact that he has been yelling out for his sister since, like, the early 2010s. It's like, come on, my guy. This is like, there's being pigeonholed, and there's this. It's like, why do you have such a good voice yelling out for your sister? It's just, it's funny. Hold on. He streams on Twitch sometimes, I think. He's pretty cool, pretty laid back. He has more range than we're giving him credit for, but it's funny to talk about the roles that he himself has joked about. Then there's Kyle Mccarley, who I'm a big fan of. He's the voice of 9S in Nier Automata. That word I say it differently every time. As well as the voice of Mikazuki from Iron Blooded Orphans. Also, sorry the meeting gods have summoned you. Yeah, no prob, Dasai. I'll continue talking nonetheless. But yeah, he was the voice actor for Mikazuki August. As well as a Gatekeeper guard. The Gatekeeper guard, man. I remember really liking his voice, and also mostly kind of seeing it as an inspiration, right? Because, you know, he has a higher voice, I think, naturally. So whenever he was getting, like, more and more main character roles, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, for us. Like, when he was Mikazuki, I really liked his take on it, because it was like... Because Mikazuki's weird himself, right? He's like, you know, he's like first episode really, like just kills an entire room of people, stone cold, and then like afterward is just like, I'm hungry. Like he's a weird Gundam protagonist, I think. So when I heard Kyle's take on it, I was just in love from moment one. It was great. It was like, what do you need me to do, Orga? If you tell me to kill, I'll kill. Like, you know, like a very subdued, very higher range voice, but still very unhinged, right? Like could be seen as very laid back or relaxed in some moments, but other times I would be so scared to be in the same room as Mikazuki. I love Mikazuki. Mikazuki's probably, I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite characters, but he's up there. But if I was in the room that Mikazuki, wherever Mika found himself, I would be terrified. Because it is like he is impossible to read, right? Like, are you a chill, laid back guy? Or are you like plotting all the ways that you could end me right here in this room if Orga, you know, said so, right? I don't even know if it's intentional, but I've always seen Iron Blood Orphans as kind of a twisted version of Gurren Lagann, where the kind of relationship between Mikazuki and Orga is a bit more... I wouldn't go to the point of saying, like, similar to, like, a parasite, but more... very much more dependent on each other. To the point of, like, this is, like, your only purpose. Let's see. I don't even remember what Mikazuki says. I'm remembering his entire deal in like broad strokes of just like, Orga, we've killed so many people to get here. If you tell me to stop, I'll stop. But you know, whatever. Chocolate guy. I don't know what he says. 9S I can probably remember a bit more of, but his are a lot of screaming ones of just like, I'll kill you. Yeah, it kind of. I don't want to yell, I'll kill you on a train. That might be a bit weird, but you know. And you know, 9S is also unhinged in his own way. That's not his fault. I think. Yeah, it's not. Well, it wasn't his fault. But, you know, good voice for that, right? And I guess 9S is kind of the example, right? That was basically the role where you looked at Cal Mccarley's work and you're just like, holy shit, he can go. He can do it. Wow. Because not only was he doing like the good boy voice lines of like, you know, Hey, can you hear me? set up your volume, that entire bit. And all the banter would to be, well, one-sided banter, which, he was kind of holding up, so there you go. But he would also, like, kind of get across, how complex 9S actually was, right? From, let's say, maybe the less nice lines he has to the ones where he's straight up yelling out for murder, right? And I think that's probably more so. I mean, it's equal points, right? The script is very important for any character's portrayal, but also the voice actor behind it giving the performance and kind of going all in into making you believe this is who they are, right? And then, Gatekeeper Guard, we all know him. Greetings, Professor. It's been years since I've heard his voice, so I don't know how it sounds anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Voice acting is fun. It's cool to look at who's in a game or a show and kind of track their history and their future, really, if it's someone you really enjoy. Like, I feel like if you've been watching anime for a long time or playing games, and you are familiar with, like, let's say, you are probably familiar with voices like, Laura Bailey, Liam O'Brien, Sam Riegel, and Travis Willingham, right? Like, those are voices that we've all probably heard once in our lives, and look at them now, right? They're like big name stars now, thanks to, not only their prolific? That's a word, right? Not only thanks to their, like, resumes of having basically been in everything from, 90s to early 2000s to mid 2000s to late 2000s. But, they're D&D stars now. And, that, as such, like, they get bigger roles that pay probably way better than anime or, anime-based video games do. Which is kind of a shame in its own way, because it's like, I don't know, man. These, like, it's hard to see them, like, it's because, I feel like anime would make them utilize a lot of voices they tend to not use in a lot more Western focused games, but whatever, man, whatever. They're getting paid, and as much as I'd like to hear, like, Laura Bailey go, do that high voice again, that the Risei Kuchikawa voice, her doing her, I must know at least one deep voice Laura Bailey character. I guess Kaine. To be fair, Liam O'Brien, actually, kind of that entire cast came back for Nier Replicant. Though I guess Laura Bailey was also utilizing her more, mature sounding voice in comparison to her first attempt at Kaine. Which is interesting, right? Like, first Nier Kaine was definitely Laura Bailey, peak Laura Bailey of, high squeaky anime voice, but now is kind of slightly deeper, but still kind of in that higher register. And now it's like why don't you shut the fuck up, book? The way she always said book was always noticeable to me in that game. Like, it's like such, like, she says it basically like a slur almost. Like, which, I'm sure she meant, but it was always like such a, I don't know, it's Like, she made a single syllable word sound even shorter. I don't know if that makes sense at all. But that's how it sounded to me. Oh, I'm talking about Replicant, and I didn't even mention, what's his name? He has a name. It's not just Noctis. I mean, Zach Aguilar was in there too. And he did a pretty good job. Also another sister role, right? Like, think about that. How many roles has this man had where he is yelling out for his sister? He's literally the guy you get if this character has a sister and has to yell out her name at some point. Oh my god, what is your name? Noctis's voice actor. Ray Chase, there it is. Yeah, Ray Chase. I really like his voice. Really good voice, right? He's older. He's near, medium-sized near, and Noctis from that there Final Fantasy. He's Roy. Roy Fire Emblem. Like, and let me tell you, as someone who really liked, it's Jun Fukuyama, I think, is Roy. When the change happened, like from Japanese to English, because, you know, Fire Emblem Heroes was a thing and they could do that. Hearing Ray as Roy, it did not register in my head because he does such a good job of like kind of matching those yells that Roy would have whenever he got knocked out or something, like, yeah, right? Like, when you hear someone make like effort noises, right? Like, like, right? I feel like it's very obvious when someone is like an English voice actor or a Japanese voice actor, right? Because I feel like even in our kind of, is it onomatopoeia if it's just like effort noises like that? I don't know. But even when it's like stuff like that, it's, I feel like you're able to tell, right? Ray Chase sounded like he basically heard Roy's voice lines and then tried to match them, at least the effort noises, like the grunts and stuff, like one-on-one. And I wonder if that was intentional, because he knows it's a fighting game and it's like, you know, people have been playing these characters forever. They will notice if something is off. So he's like just trying to emulate that, or if it just was a happy coincidence. Because again, I could not tell. Whenever Roy said anything in English in Smash Brothers, it always caught me off guard because it still sounded exactly like Jun Fukuyama. At least in gameplay. I think Ray Chase actually went harder when it came to like screams, which was very weird at first, but you know, something you get used to, because Roy sounds like he's actually dying in that game. Yeah, it's specifically the yeah, you know, like that he has one of those voice lines and it sounds basically the same in both versions. Yeah, like, right? Like it's kind of like a Link-ish noise. Which, you know, when I hear that, it makes me immediately think of like, you know, this is a Japanese voice actor, right? Because it's so iconic with Link. And obviously, because, you know, that is that voice actor. I keep forgetting his name. It's been so long. But, you know, Roy says it too in both English and Japanese, which makes me really wonder how they did this voice acting for Smash. Because, you know, it's like, right? Like, these are not these are typically not like grunt noises you hear in a lot of English games. God. I'll put this in the chat if anyone wants to listen to it. Ray Chase puts in good work. I don't remember if, was he Roy in Fire Emblem Heroes? I feel like I would have remembered this. He was. Oh, he's such a baby here. A hero celebrated in legends? You can't mean me. I feel like Roy is such an interesting character, right? Because, you know, Roy, I've never played Roy's game. Binding Blade, Sword of Seals, whatever you want to call it. But from what I understand, he is kind of your typical Lord, right? Good-hearted guy, just willing to, you know, throw his life on the line if it means saving people he loves. But then, you know, Smash Melee happened, and Sakurai looked at this character and was just like, well, because, you know, Smash actually happened alongside Roy's game coming out. So Sakurai and his team looked at Roy and they saw Redhead Firechild and thought, oh, he's probably hot-blooded, right? He's probably like angry. He's probably a little cocky, right? You have red hair, you have fire, of course you're gonna be like, you have to have some hot blood in there, right? So then Smash happened, and here he is, and what were his voice lines in Smash Melee? Let me see. Because Marth's lines were weird, but they were weird because his original interpretation. Being very cocky. Let me see your taunts, my guy. No, he didn't say anything for his taunts. He just said, hey-ya! Right? Okay, his taunts were... I can't read these. Actually, no, his taunts were basically in line with his character. For those whom I must protect, I will not lose! Or whatever that is in Japanese. He's probably more in line with his actual characterization taunt-wise than Marth was. Or at least, you know, like, the modern interpretation. But yeah, like, when the Smash team saw Roy, they immediately thought, oh, hot-blooded Firechild, let's make him hot-blooded and, you know, play aggressively. And they did, and that has kind of been a weird, right? Like, that has kind of been a weird thing about Roy going forward, where you have a bunch of people, mostly, you know, Japanese players, who actually played his game and think that, you know, he's just kind of an okay Lord. I feel like I've heard a lot of people talk shit about his stats, but that's kind of where, what, the controversy ends there. Whereas, like, people in Melee, because he's such a very aggressive character playstyle-wise, as well as kind of, like, appearance-wise in that game, he has kind of propagated a weird image for himself where he is, you know, like, you know, high energetic and kind of like haughty and like so on and so forth. It's Smash is weird how it does that to characters. So now we are now living in a world where kind of both versions of Roy exist and have been merged into one, at least in terms of, you know, fan perception. So now it's like, you know, I don't know. It's one of those things of like, hey, like this character's always kind of been like a well-meaning lord, but now we have to fit that personality into this playstyle of Unga Bunga that Roy has basically been molded into. And it's such an interesting fit. Hold on, now that we're on the topic of Fire Emblem voice lines, I want to listen to Ike's lines in Smash. Because that is Greg Chun nowadays. And I want to hear if I can tell. Oh wait, which one should I listen to? Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn? Oh, I forgot about... I'll listen to one after the other and see if I can actually tell the difference. Because I've never really... That Smash Direct where he says stuff is like... Can you notice the difference between the skins? Prepare yourself. Slightly lower. Prepare yourself. It's like Oh yeah, that is Date. Oh my god, that is just straight up Date. Yep. My god, this is so dumb. I don't know if I can take Ike seriously anymore, which is a big shame. Here, I sent it in chat. Like before, I feel like I would have. Okay, I'm gonna say this. When I first heard Ike's voice, like his new voice, Greg Chun, I think I was like on the fence about it because Ike to me has always like he's always kind of been that just a guy, right? Like not weathered by war yet, at least. Eventually. I guess I always imagined more like Guts, right? Eventually, I guess. And eventually. So when I heard Greg Chun's take on him, it was very like, I guess the best way I can say it is like snaky. Not like solid snake, like shifty, I guess. Or it could just be low and whispery. I don't know, but that's kind of what I associate with that with. And especially now with Date, like, that is apt, right? Like, he's just good at doing that. I'm serious, but I'm also kind of shady voice. Okay, I can't. Let's listen to Radiant Dawn version. I'm sorry. I'm listening to these in complete silence. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I guess, you know, I guess that's kind of, that's Ike. I've actually, okay, so Judgment and Lost Judgment just came out on Steam literally yesterday. And Greg Chun is also the main character there of this detective game, right? So I might play those games at some point. I don't know if I'll do them on stream. Maybe, I don't know. But I might play those games because purely for Greg Chun, really. I know Yakuza is kind of like a big deal. Like, you would probably want to play them in the original Japanese because that's kind of how it's always been. But Greg Chun, he's right there. Let me see. Lost Judgment dub trailer. Because if I'm playing another detective game with basically Kaname Date again, and not, you know, I don't know. Fucking god, it's just him again. It just, oh, he's using the same voice. It's a good voice. It's just. Hold on, I can do this one. We can watch this together. Properties.
A lawyer's job is done once he proves the defendant innocent. Meaning my search for the truth only ends when I say it does. What the?
Like, do I want to play as Kaname Date, but probably a little bit more cool? Probably. Maybe.
We're gonna chase the truth as far as we can, even if it's in vain.
I don't know, man. Greg Chun isn't in many things that I play, so I might, you know, I'm maybe. I could probably get rid of that now. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm watching stuff now. Okay. Let's stretch. No one redeemed it. Actually, I know who can redeem it. I can. Go stretch. Go check your posture, Soren. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Soren. It's good. All right. I feel like one of the... It's a line that, like, I guess you can translate in multiple different ways. God, sure does seem like a long ride. Hello, Ghost. And yeah, this train, subway, monorail, whatever you want to call it. It's takes a while. I'm just trying to get to work. Not a lot of. But yeah, how are you doing? How's everything going? We've just been talking about voice acting. Kind of our favorite voice actors and, you know, all of that kind of fun stuff. Well, no job seems that worth long of a wait. It's, I mean, it's mostly a job where I stand in front of a door all day. I am indeed a bouncer. Not that anyone really, you know, not that I really show it off much considering how often I am on this train. But, you know, it is what it is. How you doing? Everything good? Oh, I think I've worn out my voice acting topic. Trying to think if I could, like, go anywhere else with it. But, how long have I been streaming? Not even an hour? Ugh. I can go for longer. Voice acting sure is a very interesting topic. It is. Like, I don't know. I've always had an interest in it. You're very good, a tad sick, but you're perfectly okie dokie. Aw. I hope you recover all right. I was sick recently, and it's not fun. Not a fun experience. Would not recommend. So I hope you're getting plenty of rest, as well as hydrating. This hydrate is for you. I don't know if I'm allowed to make other people of my chat hydrate, but, you know, why not? I have an unlimited number of points. Japanese popcorn buddy got a plus from being sick. I'm allowed to say oh, nice. Hello. Oh, that's great then. Never mind. Free day. You have tea next to me, Mr. Streamer friend? Thank you. Yeah, no prob. Oh, that sounds so relaxing, actually. Like, with some good old tea. What kind of tea? I'm not really a tea person, so I don't really know much about tea. Alright. Hold on. Chamomile honey. Very super duper yummy. Oh. Chamomile is the one that makes you really sleepy, right? I could go for some honey, though. Ugh. always want to like do something that is voice actory during these streams, because I feel like I've talked about how I do voice acting every now and then. I've talked about how much I love voice actors and so on and so forth. I feel like I don't actually do a lot of voice acting in this voice acting stream. But yes, you've been sitting on your bottom bunk surrounded by stuffed animals and blankets. According to your mother, it looks like a cult. Ooh. Oh, that sounds so cozy. I used to have a bunk bed. And I was the bottom bunk, I think. And it was so cozy. Like, I felt protected, you know? Like, nothing could get in for, like, it's a weird thought to have, but I used to always think of, like, everything around me as, like, I guess a video game level of, like, potential vantage points and so on and so forth. It's something I've grown out of, obviously. But having a bottom bunk always felt so, you know, I always felt sheltered, like, so protected. It was great. I had to use the bottom bunk because whenever I was on the top bunk, I would always forget I was, and like I'm someone who likes to literally jump out of bed just to get my day started. I didn't fall out of it. That never happened. But I did bump my head on the ceiling multiple times over. It was a rather tall bunk bed. It was cool. It was rad. But considering my family's history of furniture, probably not the safest of things. Ooh, an idea you have is actually something you used to do. In an old Discord chat you would always make up this little talk show thingy. It was hosted by a black, skunkly cat called Mr. Nothing. His goal was to make everyone else in the call extremely uncomfy. You could do something similar with my viewers. I don't... Like, I like... I don't know. I like having my chat be very comfortable, like... Like, I see what you're going for, right? Like, a reason to keep talking. But I think I'd like my chat being something that you can put on just have on in the background and just kind of relax to. I've always said that I'm okay with being like a third tab kind of streamer. Like, what about opinions? Random is the best form of entertainment. I guess I work best with questions, so like if you have any questions about me as a person, that's fine. You can ask anything, really. Let's see. Anything else about voice acting that I can scrunch up? Let's see. Wait, lay back a bit. Let's get comfy. How do I feel? I feel alright. I'm feeling a-okay. I've been doing a lot more free talking streams, mostly because I took a long break, and I want to get more comfortable about talking to people, and more so comfortable talking to kind of myself, really. Like, you know, it's just one of those things of, not, you are basically streaming, but you are like basically talking into the void for most of it. And that's fine. Like, I don't want my chat to feel like they have to talk to me. Part of this is training for myself of being able to talk to myself for no reason other than to be entertaining to at least someone out there. I'm someone who likes to watch random video essays in the background of things. Sometimes I listen to them, but most of the time I just need something on, right? Like, I'm someone who can't really be left alone with my own thoughts. Otherwise, things just get, like, not gonna say, like, depressing or weird or anything. It's just, you know, it's hard to focus when I am the only one who is able to put topics into my head as me, I guess. Which is probably for the worse because I usually play like very focused games like Apex or Splatoon, and those typically require actual attention to be paid to what you're doing. But no, I even if I'm on like ranked or something, I'm still gonna put on a video essay just to listen. I don't know. Ugh. You enjoy video essays. You can try analyzing a voice actor's role and performance in the film or show. I actually just did that like a few minutes ago, but I could do it again. Like, let's see. Let's see. Who's a character I really like? Oh, right. Mccarley's also Mob from Mob Psycho, I think. Which is something I should really get to, considering how much looks... Like, that show just kind of looks like my aesthetic. It looks like my jam of, like, a silly-looking series, but actually a lot of heart. And I want to get to it. I do. But I don't know, I just never had the time. I guess I do have the time now. I could watch it tonight if I want to. That'd be interesting. Could also try to be every Twitter user and nitpick every little problem in a character's voice. I don't like doing that. When it comes to dub voice acting, I tend to like basically most things about it. Like, I don't think there's really a voice in a dub that I thought was very unfitting. Well, okay. I say that, but then I remember a lot about Fire Emblem Fates. And I don't really know if that's not the voice actor's fault, though. That is definitely the direction they were given. As well as kind of just Fates in general. Kind of everything about Fates. Everything about Fates is kind of weird. Let's see. I've already been on a whole, basically, fanboy rant. Not rant, praising of Greg Chun as basically any character he touches. Johnny Young Bosch is getting really popular again. He's getting so many roles in so many Netflix things. I'm starting to wonder, like, how does that happen? I was under the assumption this man was ready to basically, like, be content with his band and, like, just kind of stop voice acting entirely, or, like, at the very least stay away from more main character focused roles. But no, like, I feel like every other Netflix adaptation, he is there as the main character, like, doing his Johnny Young Bosch thing of sounding like Johnny Young Bosch. Which is weird, because now we have a lot of other people who also sound like him now. So it's just like, oh, is this one of your, like, quote-unquote successors, or... Like, I don't know. I love Johnny's voice acting. I feel like Johnny was one of the first voice actors I recognize in a piece of media, among many, right? Like, let's see, who is he? He is Koizumi from Haruhi. He is Lelouch Lamperouge, Lelouch v Britannia, from Code Geass. He is, yeah. Ask a very random question, Ghost. No problem. I just keep going about Johnny Young Bosch for a second. He's Orga in Iron Blooded Orphans. He's Guy from Tales of the Abyss. He's Renton Thurston from Eureka 7. Oh, the list goes on and on. He's Virgil. Not Virgil. What the fuck? What was his name? Nero? From Devil May Cry. Oh, he's Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach. If Johnny's very iconic to you, then how do you feel about Christopher Sabat, whom you find very iconic as well? Oh, you mean like basically the voice of Dragon Ball? Like, because he's like half that cast, right? Yeah. I have nothing, like, he seems like a fun person. He's basically, I feel like whenever he's in a role, you know what kind of role it is immediately, right? Like, you know, very iconic, very much a classic voice actor at this point. I think it's just like, I don't hear, like, you know, he's mostly, well, let's see, let's go to BTVA. You know him the best as Vegeta and All Might, right? He is All Might. You're right. You're totally right. Oh shit! Wait. Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought the Yu Yu Hakusho OVA was dubbed. Is it dubbed yet? Hold on. Hey, cast is confirmed they're coming back. Oh boy. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, he's like Vegeta and Piccolo and Shenron. Wasn't he also Yamcha? Yeah, he's Yamcha. He's like half of the Ginyu Force. Zoro from One Piece. Vegeta. Who else? Oh, yeah, All Might's here. Yamcha as well. Hey, Doran. Hey, how you doing? I really wonder how like that ended up happening, because you know, I feel like part of that was just Funimation was really like, that was their big break, right? Like Dragon Ball. Like, but from what I remember, they were pretty small, just a small Texas thing back then. Yeah, you took it as a budget thing. Yeah, like it makes sense. But like, I think it's just funny that he has just kept those roles, because he's managed to make them very different from one another, right? Like his Vegeta is still very different from his Piccolo, which is very different from his Yamcha. And it's just like, oh, I'm gonna keep all these roles, might as well. Though I did really like it with I don't know how many of you guys watch Super. But, you know, when Super had that one episode where, there was basically a Vegeta clone. It brought back the other Vegeta voice. That was such a fun pull. Yeah, like... Honestly, Brian Drummond, yeah, it was... I didn't really expect them to go for that, but it was really such a cool idea. That was him, right? Yeah, it was. Man. I want Canada to get way more dubs again. Actually, since we're talking about voice actors, for the Mega Man Battle Network games, the collection, they brought back, is it Andrew Francis? Who was the voice actor for Mega Man in that series in the anime. Because, you know, those games were never really, I don't think they had a dub. Because I don't think there was voice acting in any of them. But, like the Battle Network games, I mean. So it was just really weird hearing that voice again after, what, like decades? A decade? I'm gonna say decades. I don't know. It was just like I can set a clip. Hold on. Actually, hold on. I think I got it. Yeah, I have a tweet right here. I can copy it. Copy link. That should work, I think. But how you doing, Doran? How you been? You have any voice acting things to share? We're just talking about voice actors, or like people's just experience with voice acting as a whole. Can be a person, can be a game, can be a show, can be an experience. Not well. How are you supposed to compete with Sonic and Mega Man? Graduating? Oh no! Doran, we don't have to compete with Sonic and or Mega Man. We just have to admit that we'll never be as cool as either of them and just move on. Doing good. That's pretty good then. That's all right. Hope I'm well. I'm doing great. I think I'm fine. No, I am fine. I am fine. You were a Sega kid. You made your peace already. We'll never be way past cool. God damn it. I keep seeing Jaleel White, like, just randomly. My family likes to watch a lot of game shows, and I feel like he's always a special guest in like one game show or another. So I just always see him, and I know everyone says Urkel. Everyone loves talking about Urkel. I'm sure he loves getting that comparison every day of his life. I just see Sonic, like. Okay, my history with the Sonic cartoon is weird, right? Because I feel like I didn't really get into Sonic until it was kind of the transitional period from the 2D stuff to the 3D stuff, right? I'm talking about Sonic again. God damn it. It always comes back to Sonic. What am I doing with my life? Yeah, I was definitely like, I want to say it was Sonic 3 and was it Adventure? Was it? There had to be something else. I had a Dreamcast. Adventure was probably my. It was the first game I'm sure I finished, I think. And I think, like, so, you know, Adventure, literally in the title, you know, and you know, Sonic 3, Sonic 2, like, all of the 2D Sonics were always about, you know, just running, just seeing cool stuff, that's it, right? So when I heard that there was a Sonic cartoon, because I didn't watch much TV back in the day, or at least I didn't watch much TV other than, like, you know, the few channels that we had. When I heard that there was like okay, I was like, this was when like TV guides started becoming way more of a thing, I think, like built in, right? So when I was scrolling past, I saw, you know, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I was just like, I've never seen this cartoon. So in my head, I made up all of these weird, like, theories about what this show could be before I ever actually watched it. Because I brought it up to my dad at the time, and he was just like, yeah, there's a Sonic cartoon. Of course there is. And I was just like, what could it be? And I've weirdly... Okay, this is gonna sound weird. But, and you know, whatever happened afterward is probably all my fault for manifesting this in my mind. But I always thought, before I actually watched, not even like SatAM, just the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, I was always under the assumption that it was like gonna be a grand epic about Sonic, like, I don't know, like, and like running across valleys and stuff. And I don't know why there was, I imagined there to be a princess involved. But I just assumed there was, like, and there was going to be a kingdom that he would have to save. That was kind of what I thought the series was going to be. So when I watched it for the first time, back when I was, like, what? Like a young lad. The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is a weird thing. Let me tell you. That's kind of my entire that was kind of my entire experience with that show. I watched it, you know. Sonic media, of course I'd watch it. I loved Sonic media of all sorts of all kinds. Well, but okay, here's a big thing about me that I've come to realize nowadays. I feel like my thoughts and feelings about Sonic the Hedgehog mirror my thoughts and feelings about Dragon Ball almost to a T, right? Because I think now as an adult, I can look back and say that the way Dragon Ball and the way Sonic were portrayed in America upon their release was not something I was ever into. Okay, with Dragon Ball, I more so mean Dragon Ball Z, where they kind of amped up, like, the cool attitude, like, you know, like, the best way I can put it is the Brawly era, right? Like, for Dragon Ball and Sonic, actually, I guess, like, you know, I think over here, Sonic has a weird legacy of being like, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm cool and I'm slick. I got attitude, right? Like, and that's not even exclusive to the adventure era. Like, he has had that in America, in the West, basically since his conception. Like, we've seen all those commercials where he's like acting like he's like a brat. He's like too cool. He's like dismantling authority. And, you know, I'm sure that there are you know, that's kind of a theme of Sonic in general, right? Oh yeah, no, gotta be the anti-Mario. He's gotta be rude with attitude. And I think the embodiment of that for Sonic for me is when they would draw Sonic and they would interpret his spikes as a mohawk, as opposed to, like, well, I don't actually know what it wasn't. I've always imagined Sonic's head as like a triangle and less of a mohawk shape. So whenever things would give him a mohawk, which was a lot of like Western animation for Sonic and commercials for Sonic, and I guess Sonic 3 to an extent, when they redrew the sprite, I was not a fan. I could not word it back then when I was a young child. I don't know. I always thought Sonic was supposed to be like a Mickey Mouse, of like, whichever way he turns, the three spikes are just there. And then I learned my lesson when Sonic X happened and they did that exact same thing. And, like, you know, they did exactly what I wanted, but it still didn't look right. I don't know. I'm a silhouette person, and talking about Sonic silhouette makes me so angry. Because I feel like there's no real answer to it. Because, like, you know, they did the entire Mohawk thing back in the early days of his entire career, and that did not jive with me. But then, like, post-Adventure, I want to say, like, because Adventure had the same problem, but I feel like it got way worse in the 06 era, where, well, 06, where like they would draw, like they would mainly focus on Sonic from the front view, and they would make his spikes really long, and it would just, I don't know, man. Like I feel like when you start going into that it reminded me of like when they gave Trunks long hair, but like any amount of cool that was just gone. Sonic and Dragon Ball, basically the same thing to me at this point. Like literally from the characterizations that I like, the problems I have with characterization concerning Sonic could basically be applied to like Goku. Like I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird how that works out. One day I'll just have an essay about how Sonic and Goku, how I think they should act versus how they act in actual canon, and that will probably tank any respect I have for myself, to be honest, but whatever. I'm making a point here. I'm taking a stand. Hey, Sonic is best when he's not a hero, when he's just a dude who just happens to be in the way. Point made. That being said, this is silly. This is really silly. I'm kind of actually really happy that Sonic Frontiers is a thing. I am not sure if I'm gonna get it at this point. Like, it's still, I'm not falling into the Sonic cycle again. But, I'm at least happy they're going for a mood again, right? Like, Ian Flynn is on it. He did some of the original Archie, not the original, but like some of the Archie comics back in the day, and it is responsible for a lot of the current IDW Sonic. So I have trust that the story will at least be entertaining. Apparently, the opinions from the last demo are really good. I'm not used to that sentence, Doran. Not concerning Sonic. I can't. I can't. I was one of... Okay, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's really weird. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. When the two games that I was excited for concerning Sonic, the last two games I was so hyped up about and was just like, I'm gonna get these games no matter what. With Shadow the Hedgehog and 06. I bought Shadow the Hedgehog. I was actually really excited to play that game. I did. I have problems with it that aren't like the typical, oh, it's edgy thing, right? Like, it is indeed edgy, but I'm buying a game based on Shadow the Hedgehog. Don't gun me. No, I know. I have problems with that game. It is very edgy. I think that whatever that word even means anymore, it is. It is, but you know, it's funny. Well, I think the last one you fell for was Heroes. Yeah. But it was so broken that you got enough fun out of it from speedrunning. See, I think what I got from Heroes was like, okay, let's just go down the 3D Sonic list. Why don't we Why don't we, right? Why not? Okay, Sonic Adventure 1. It has a weird special memory for me because that's kind of the first game I remember beating. And you know, it's not a short game. Rather long. The same levels over and over again with little twists and turns, but like it's substantial. And I remember really liking the tone of that one, right? Yeah, because it was kind of the last game I can remember where you had a hub world. It was the last Sonic game that was very much... Well, okay, it wasn't the last Sonic game, but it was like, it still had that 1, 2, 3 energy of weird things happening for no real reason. You know, like, it had a casino zone. It had a casino zone. That's kind of what I associate with Sonic, or like that era of Sonic. I still really like the vibes of adventure. Like, that is like peak Dreamcast to me. Like, oh, here we can render water. You distinctly remember you're just hanging out as Amy, and then giant robot falls from the sky. And just the direction of that game is, in general, is wild. Because it's like a little bit of foreshadowing of things to come, right? Of how serious they'll actually, well, quote unquote serious, they'll take the series, versus like just like the fun vibes of, hey, you're still a hedgehog who is fast. You guys like that whale? This is the power of the Dreamcast. You can see that whale. Here's some water physics. Are they good? No, well, they're water. Okay, I think the game after that I played immediately after that was Sonic Shuffle, which no one talks about. I remember Sonic Shuffle. Oh God. Yeah. I will say, I remember like the little gems, the stars you could get, the star equivalent in those games. I remember always really liking the look of them, because I think they were like, they looked like gacha currency, if that makes sense, before gacha currency was really a thing. That's kind of my thoughts on Shuffle. Adventure 2 was weird. I have, you know, I feel like a lot of people have fondness for Adventure 2. I do too. But they're mostly from the Chow Garden. Mostly because I had never experienced... I didn't play Knights. I did play Knights. I did not understand Knights. I had no idea what was happening at any point in Knights. Knights was a fever dream. I think that's what they were going for, though. Adventure 2, okay, I can't lie. I was super into Shadow the Hedgehog. It was such a cool look. Like, I don't know, like, give me a break. It was the 2000s. Zero, hey, yo, congrats on the what happened with my mouth? Congrats on the re-debut. That's that word. You 100% in Knights and still didn't really understand what was happening. I remember loops. I remember you finish the first level and then you get to like your first boss, and then that one is at a slightly different angle, which I thought was cool at the time. But I don't think I ever really... I think my dad was super into Knights. Because this was the era where, you know, he was still playing video games before... Well, he still plays games, but I feel like he was way more adventurous back then. Now he just kind of plays hack and slashes and is like, yeah, I got my fun. Like, before... I remember a really weird... I remember a really weird memory with me and my dad, where we were playing Pro Skater, right? And I was like watching over his shoulder as he was doing, you know, trying and failing this level, like kind of one of the first ones actually, over and over again. And I was just like, Dad, you're not doing it right. Dad, come on, like, it's so easy, just do tricks. Like, to the point, like, I was annoying. Let's be honest. Let's be real. I was really annoying. But it was like to the point where he was just like he just like like, it's really funny thinking about it now, because he's not like this at all, right? He's actually pretty calm and chill. But like, I remember very specifically he was so upset at himself and angry at me that he was just like, he basically shoved the controller into my hands and it was just like, all right, then you do it. You get a better score, and then just like stormed off. And that is so unlike him in my mind. and then if like it was Pro Skater of all things, and you know, I did play that game, and I did do it. I didn't rub it in his face or anything. He was off. He drove off. Thankfully, he came back. That would have been a weird story. Future's now, old man. Just me standing on my brother's shoulders as we skate, as we do a 360. Yeah, I don't know. But how are you doing, Yimizo? All right. Sorry, I feel like I've called you so many variations of your actual name. Yumizuru. Zuro. I'm so sorry. How are you doing, though? Is everything alright? I think you're streaming for a while. Also, if you have any preference for your name, I know you told me before. It's just been a while. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with names. You stream for around 10 hours? Oh my god. You prefer Yumizu, right? Okay. All right. I'll go with Yumi. Well, actually, I was gonna say okay. Okay. I'm so sorry. You told me. I remember because you told me like literally the first time you've been in my chat. I'm pretty sure. And I couldn't remember. But yeah. Okay. Sorry. No, you said no need to apologize, so I won't apologize. I will just call you the name that you actually prefer. That applies to anyone here, by the way. I usually have a little note, like quote unquote note of like a sticky note on Windows, where I try to like keep track of everyone I see, like in the chat or like whoever we raid based on, you know, like stuff like that, because I am so bad at remembering things, guys. Like especially with names and stuff like that. Like I'm regular, not really regular, occasional special guest, someone that I have basically been around for a long time. Their name is Bun, Plushy Bunnies. They've been around for a while. I keep bouncing back and forth between calling them Plush or Bun, and it's been such a hassle for me to just like remember what's the one I actually use. I don't know, man. Names are weird. I want to say when I was in school, I would never use anyone's actual names. I would always wait until someone said a nickname, and I would latch onto that, whether or not I knew them for real or not. Like, because I was just so afraid, like, of like, what if I say their name and I get it wrong, right? Always been a weird fear with me. In interviews that I have, like for job interviews, there was a time where, like, you know, the person interviewing me, like, introduced themselves, and I just literally forgot immediately. So I never referred to her by her name because I was just like, yeah, you know, I was doing the second person thing. I was relying on you as opposed to, like, you know, ever getting the chance to say her name, which, to be honest, probably did not look good on my part. You've returned. How goes the ride? We are talking about, I guess, names now, Dasai. Like, talked about how I beat my dad at Pro Skater. I think I'm done with Sonic. Well, okay, let's go back to Sonic real fast. Sonic Adventure, I had fun with. I liked Chow Garden, so on and so forth. Sonic Heroes, I feel like they tried to take it more in a friendly, family-friendly tone, which is probably more in line with Sonic as a whole. But it was cheesy back then. But I feel like the soundtrack kind of saved it for me. I still listen to, was it What I'm Made Of every now and then? Hold on. Like, done with a particular Sonic game or Sonic as a whole? I was just talking about Sonic as a thing. I'm going through a lot of like 3D Sonic games, and I'm kind of talking about like my personal. I was gonna say personal beef. My personal history with them. Yeah, Heroes was. I feel like I liked Heroes at the time. As time goes on, I dislike it more and more. But I still really like the music. But I don't know if that really says anything about the quality. It never does with Sonic. Shadow the Hedgehog. At the very least, it's funny, right? It's a slog. I got stuck at multiple points in that game. I hate it when games like flesh out the backstory of something and then it turns out, aliens or something like that. Gave us a good fandom if nothing else. I love that dub. That was like, honestly, I was like kind of hesitant about like, hearing another Sonic fan dub. No, they nailed it out of the park. Like, the voice of Shadow is really coming to his own. Like, basically... Oh, that was such a good dub. Fuck. They do good work. Snapcube, Penny. Yeah. Leads a good crew. Especially now. Especially a good crew. My experience with Shadow the Hedgehog kind of soured me on Sonic as a whole at that point, so I didn't actually get into 06. And I think that might have been, like, Shadow the Hedgehog might have been my last Sonic game. And now I'm just one of the Sonic fan base who just likes complaining about everything else that comes out afterward. That's not fair. I see a lot of people like gripe about the Boost era, and I'm just like, yeah, Generations and Mania, they're great. Unleashed is, I've heard, is half great. You have a few recommendations for fan games that are incredible. Oh, like was it Fallen Star? What was that? Hold on. I've heard some good things about Sonic and the Fallen Star. Oh, Roboblast 2. Sonic Smackdown is getting rolled back? Okay. That's the Sonic fighting game with... Well, I mean, obviously it's a fighting game, but that's like the really good-looking one, right? Ugh, man. Plays clean, yeah. I might look into that, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing about me, right? This is gonna sound like a really... It doesn't sound like I'm gatekeeping so much as I feel like I'm being gatekeeped, I guess. But trust me when I say this from the bottom of my heart. I don't feel like I can consider myself a real fan of any particular franchise. because I feel like I don't really have a lot of loyalty to anything. Like, let's see. Like, I want to say like the first game where I've been like, I gotta play every game in the franchise, and have, is probably Splatoon, and that's because there's 3 of them. There's literally only 3 of them. And I've just been with that franchise from the very start, right? Like, that is the one game I can be like, yeah, I've played all of them. And feel like I have any amount of, like, weight when I, like, any weight to bring when to any conversation about it. Sonic, again, I played some of the 2D era, half of the 3D era. You can see that. You don't think you've had any sense of franchise loyalty. Yeah, it's like, I was ride or die with Pokemon for a long time. Like, Sun and Moon are still some of my favorite games in the franchise. Sun, Moon, and Black and White are really good Pokemon games. I would rather recommend Black and White if you're more of a traditionalist when it comes to Pokemon, because it is like, the designs are hit or miss with a lot of people, but I still think it's one of the best games in the franchise. Even if you like some of the games a lot. Yeah, it's like you shouldn't, like, no one should ever feel like they need to play all of something in order to feel like they, like, can like it, right? But to some degree, I feel like, you know, like I say, I really like the Dreamcast. I have not played a lot of the actual big Dreamcast games. Like, Sonic Adventure and Crazy Taxi were probably my games of choice with the Dreamcast. So I missed out on, like, games that I would have probably really appreciated, like Jet Set Radio or Space Channel 5. Not that I think I had the rhythm for Space Channel 5. I barely have the rhythm now. Like, my introduction to Jet Set Radio was once the GameCube was... not once the GameCube. Once the Dreamcast was dead and buried. Because I was really into the look of Wind Waker, because I had never seen anything like Wind Waker before. So that led me to the Wikipedia article of cell shading, which retroactively made me look into Jet Set Radio. And then I've been a fan of cell shading ever since then. Pokemon, you know, I've fallen off a lot. It's not even really a design thing, right? Like, I like to think of Pokemon as animals, so going forward, if there's an animal I don't like, just an animal I don't like, right? I think my thing with Pokemon was, it's a franchise that I so want to see evolve and grow. And I thought Black and White 2, and Sun and Moon were such good examples of that. Let's just ignore X and Y for a little bit. Well, X and Y had its own share of, like, evolution, right? Because that brought the online to the front and focus in a really interesting way with the egg powers and whatnot. And the fact that you could touch people, like, you know, you're basically always online and can interact with someone at any point. But then they got rid of that in Sun Moon, and it's like, what? But then Sun Moon, like, completely overhauled the whole gym thing and the traditional storyline, and kind of went with a more, you know, JRPG-esque, like, story of, like, it was a coming-of-age story, but it wasn't your story, which I thought was kind of fascinating. And they nixed the online focus. Yeah, that bug. Yeah. I don't know how Pokemon works. The arbitrary, we're getting rid of features with complete disregard for how it was received as peak Pokemon Company. You were on the money with that, Doran. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I guess also a part of that has to do with me being completely disillusioned with the Pokemon fan base, really. Because again, I really like Sun and Moon. I know there are problems with them. The tutorial is like hours long. Like, if you are just into the monster collecting aspect, getting a bunch of story shoved down your throat is probably not what you're in for. But to me, I just really like the idea that Pokemon could tell a story. I guess, like, you know, Sun and Moon dealt with a lot of like. This might be more of a reflection about what I was going through at the time of like heavy expectations being put upon you, wanting like running away from basically not responsibility, but like, you know, like having a lot put upon you to the point of collapse. You know, like, because the entire team of that game was Team Skull, who were like, I guess the best way I can put them are like dropouts, right? Like basically, I don't want to be part of this trial system. And you know, they literally have just, I don't know. The theming of that game is what made that game for me, right? Characters are great, but the themes are kind of what sold me on that game, because I thought I was just getting a Pokemon game with a tropical setting, and you know what? That's fine and dandy, but I was not expecting a lot of like kind of interesting themes, like interesting dilemmas that they had to deal with in that game. Lily, hey, hello. Welcome to the stream. We're talking about Pokemon. Yeah, I don't know. I still have a real fondness for Sun and Moon. Black and White and Black and White 2, I mostly really dig for the aesthetic. They're good games with a good story too. Just here to give some love and chill on break. Yeah, no problem. Have fun. Have fun and relax while you can. We're all just chilling. Yeah, Black and White and Black and White 2, I really love for different reasons. I think the story is so good. I think people really like, and some of that theming is still there of like kind of living up to family expectations and whatnot. But they're just fast. Like, if you set the battles to, like, Neum, they basically go as quick as possible, and you blink and you miss a fight. I think the sprite work in that game is phenomenal, and they will never do it. We've talked about this before in other streams, I think. But if they ever did a HD 2D remake of Black and White and Black and White 2, I think it would hold up a lot better now than back then. It was amazing back then, don't get me wrong, but I feel like no one appreciated it back then, right? If only they knew what 3D models had in store for us. They'd be crawling back to their pixel artists on their knees groveling. Yeah, if you look at the sprite work in that and how they utilize puppet tools and whatnot, it is amazing. Like, all the animations in that game are kind of, they're being manipulated. I can't explain this better than like other people on the internet can, but they do a really good thing with like puppet tools in order to make all of the sprites look lively without like expending too much resources on it. And that's the thing. Pokemon has always been about utilizing their budget to the best of their ability. And I feel like at some point we had lost that. Like, hey, are we going for something ambitious? Yeah. Should we go about it in a way that makes sense stylistically? Yeah. Like, I know you guys have all the money in the world, but like, you know, putting some restrictions tends to breed innovation, you know? Which is kind of why I really wish they went for a more stylized look with some of their more recent stuff. I feel like Arceus was kind of close there. They didn't really stick with the... I kind of wish they stuck with a more artsy-fartsy, you know, like calligraphy looking art style for the setting in that area, in that game. You know, give it a bit more substance that could at least hide more of the technical difficulties. Pokemon's a weird franchise, man. They can't even do the Monster Hunter thing where they only have like a couple of Pokemon per generation. Because as soon as you get rid of one Pokemon, someone out there is going to complain. I remember Dexit. That was not that long ago, but still long enough, actually. Dexit. Flashbacks. Yeah, I don't know. I can laugh at Dexit. I can laugh at Dexit because I'm not someone who likes to bring over my Pokemon from the last generation over into the new one, right? Because I feel like in terms of themes and, you know, just kind of how the lore works, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not the same trainer I was in literally every other generation. I'm a new guy. Every game, I'm a new guy. The story tells me so. I like to build a new team full of new faces. And then just happen to have a Gardevoir in every team I make because they're just really good. They're really strong. And they're always in every... in everything. I don't know. Sometimes I go Gallade. Sometimes I go Gallade for physical. It's cool. Yeah, I don't know. Pokemon's weird. Your Metagross stance. You have taste, Dasai. Metagross is a cool Pokemon. It's a leg at first, and then it becomes less of a leg, and then has more legs. Becomes 2 legs, and then becomes 4. Metagross. What's my favorite Pokemon? Let's go by generation. Do you guys have... Let's go by generation. Let's hold on, I can do this. Let's get a list of Pokemon here. Okay. Is that gonna work? That does work. I can make this look better. Hold on. Yeah, I think this will work. Okay, let's go down the list. How about it? Oh, wait, I can't scroll. Fuck. Oh, wait, shit. Okay, hold on, never mind. Hold on. Let me close out all my tabs. And then just... Hold on. I don't want to dox myself. Browser. Window capture. Yeah, sure. Is anything here showing off anything that shouldn't be shown? No. Wait, it's already showing anyway. Oh, well, okay. I could do an incognito browser, you're right. You're totally right, Doss. I'm not smart. Yeah, it's fine. Here, let's go down the list. I love talking about Pokemon. Mostly like gym trainers, but yeah, this is fine too. Does that look alright? Let's see. Wait, no, I can do this, but even better. What do I do? Actually, I can just... I don't need to, like, make the window bigger. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, let's just, let's see. Alright. Let's go by generation. First generation... I mean, we could either do this where I just kind of scroll past and tell you which is probably my favorite Pokemon of this generation, or we could go one by one and talk about each and every single evolutionary line. I'm down for either, but we'll see. I'll give that's a lot of Pokemon. Yeah, I'll sum it up. Bulbasaur, I appreciate Bulbasaur a lot more now than I did back then. There's a calmness to him that I like. Charizard line's really overrated, but I still like it. I still really like it. Like, whatever. Blastoise is also an evolutionary line I appreciate a lot more now. I never really liked the cannons, but now I do. Don't know why. Okay. I have really nothing much to say about Butterfree or... Beedrill's okay. You need to show me a tweet regarding Mega Blastoise? Oh no. Yeah, sure. I'm down. Beedrill I love now. Beedrill's terrifying, but I love it. Pidgeot, Raticate, like I don't really think anything of these Pokemon for the most part, because it's just like they exist, right? Like this is kind of the base standard of these were animals and they existed, and I like that. But like if you showed me a bunch of birds and dogs, Hey Ori, hey, what's up? Talking about Pokemon. I'm trying to find my favorite Pokemon. Okay, Sandshrew and Sandslash are actually kind of high up there. I'm putting them... I will get back to you on whether or not I think they are my favorite. But so far, they're up there. I'm doing alright. Oh shit. Nidoran, the Nidoran family, really good. Oh, Dazai, this tweet is great. Nidoran, you had a little toy Nidoking back when you were little. One of your faves. Yeah, I love the design for Nidoking and Nidoqueen. Yeah, they're high. They're really high up there. The Fairy Level, they weren't really my thing. Vulpix was. Ninetales line was really good. Jigglypuff, I feel like is a bit more in line with what I like in terms of like cutesy. Because I feel like there's still like a go-getter energy about Wigglytuff. But that might just be my Mystery Dungeon bias. Zubat was... Vileplume... Paris... Venom... Doug Trio is good. Diglett dig, Diglett dig. Trio, trio, trio. Meowth was one of those lines that were I liked way more. Is that a Doug Trio with hair? Yeah, that's Sun Moon. Yeah, I didn't. Sun Moon was weird about some of their Alolan variants. Some of them are really good, but others are just kind of like, okay. Meowth I like way more than Persian. I think Meowth is kind of the first line where I'm just like, I don't want to evolve you because you just kind of become whatever after that. Psyduck, on the other hand, I could go. I like Psyduck, but I also like Golduck. I might like Psyduck a little bit more because look at him. He's trying his best. Mankey Primate. I honestly kind of forget these two exist sometimes. I really like their design. They're just orbs. But I do kind of forget them. They get lost and they basically are like monkey Pokemon are basically like fish Pokemon to me. Growlithe, I actually like Hisuian Growlithe a lot. Like normal Growlithe's fine, Arcanine's great, but Hisuian Growlithe is kind of a cool design for me. Oh, Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath. I want justice for Poliwrath. I feel like Poliwrath has kind of been shoved to the wayside a little. Poliwhirl's a good boy, though. Look at it. Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam. We can't talk about these Pokemon. Gary Geller is gonna sue us. Machop, Machoke, Machamp. You prefer that version over Poliwrath? Oh, Poliwhirl, yeah. Poliwrath is angry, but you know, it's in the name. Poliwhirl is just a good guy. He's just hanging out. Oh, Politoed, yeah. I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind the Politoed. Politoed, I feel like Politoed keeps the energy of Poliwhirl. I don't know why Poliwrath is angry. Like, why did they go fighting? I'm very curious about how that came about. Okay, I don't know how I feel about Bellsprout. I really like Leaving Bell. Victory Bell scares me so much. Tentacruel, you know. Okay, Geodude. Okay, Geodude was one of my original favorites. It's just a rock. I appreciate that. But it's also one of those where, as it evolves, I like it less and less. Ponyta is a horse. I do like the unicorn variant. That is a really smart idea. Slowpoke is relatable. Slowbro as well. Slowking is mostly what I remember from Pokemon 2000. Geodude is a silly concept, but you like it. Just a rock with arms. It's just a dude. Just, you know, vibing. In Pokemon Arceus, they hold jars down. Okay, I have a fondness for Magnemite. I really like Magnemite. But that's kind of based on a... It was a fascination with magnets I had when I was younger. I dropped that habit once I got more into electronics, because magnets and electronics tend not to work well. Farfetch'd, pretty good. Your bias is Steel types, and it was rare back in the day. Yeah, yeah. Like, they were Steel before Steel was a thing. I'd like Doduo. Doduo, look, It's silly. It's just a silly look. I like it. All right, let's speed things up a little. If there's any Pokemon you guys like, you can feel free to shout them out. What do I think about Surfetched? I haven't played Sword and Shield, but I was really happy that Farfetch'd got some love, you know? I think for the design, I was kind of mixed. Because if you were to ask me to make an evolution for Farfetch, I feel like I would have gone less night. Like, because I don't, I would have gone more all in with the leak. Well, that's what they did, but like incorporate it more into the design, I guess. Like into the body, I suppose. I was expecting Farfetch to turn into a bird, like more of a bird than like kind of keeping the same shape. I still like him. Surfetch is a cool idea. I just haven't played those games, so I have played this game bias, right? Like, there's no this was on my team bias. All right, let's speed things up a little, just a little. Gengar favorite, one of them. Hypno, Voltorb, I will always have a fondness for Voltorb. People like to dunk on it because it's just a Pokeball design, but it's a mimic. That's why. And I love mimics. Let me tell you, I am so fascinated with mimics. I actually kind of prefer Executor's Alolan design. Cubone is probably one of my favorite Pokemon ever. And Alolan Marowak, like, I did not care about Marowak. I love Alolan Marowak. Yeah, I'm way more fun versus the original. I'm surprised it took them this long to make a Palm Tree variant. Alolan Marowak is so cool. It's like Ghost Fire. Like, whoa. Like, that's such a big change from Ground. Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, yeah. Rhyhorn, I like Rhyhorn. I don't like Rhydon. Is that weird? I think I like Rhyhorn as like an animal. Rhydon gets to the point where it's like getting a bit scary. It's not scary, but like, it's like big. Rhyperior is great. I feel like once you hit Rhyperior, you've basically gone like, you've embraced the concept. All right, I'm switching over to talk about anything that just has my interests. Scyther's cool. I kind of forgot Scyther was a bug type for a long time. Which is weird because I don't know what it would have been if not a bug type. Did you guys have a favorite Eeveelution back in the day? I want to say mine was Jolteon. Leafeon's great. Leafeon is probably one of the best, actually. Okay, I love Porygon. Porygon's fun. Yeah. I feel like they really experimented later on with the Eeveelutions in terms of the design, because at first it's just kind of like, water. You all like the newer Porygon. I like original Porygon a lot. But I think that's mostly because it looked right? Like, once in Pokemon Snap, if you see a Porygon, it is the one that looks the most like its initial concept, because it is utilizing the 64 technology to, like, it is one for one. That Pokemon has always looked good in any 3D game. because it was meant to. I feel like the newer Porygon, like, it kind of loses it for me because I like the low poly look. So when they try to go higher, it's like Porygon 2 is okay. I think I like is it Porygon Z? I like it because it's like infected, so it's like a virus. So there's like a story there. Oh, okay. This is like the one reason I've been thinking about getting Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield. Zapdos. This version of Zapdos, I like it way more than the original Zapdos. But I also just like walking birds, right? Like ostriches, emus, chocobos. Hold up. Okay. Yeah! It's like a... Can I pull up a picture? Hold on. Here, I'll send the link. Yeah, it's like a chocobo. I love running birds. Didn't realize it was fighting though. Thought it was fire. It looks fire, but yeah, it's just destroys with its legs. A chocobo but spiky. That's probably one of my favorites out of like the Sword and Shield variants. All right, I'm gonna say this: my favorite Pokemon of this generation. Oh god, this is hard. You know, whatever. I'm going Cubone. Alright, let's speed this up. Starters in this generation are, like, I feel like I like them a lot. Mine would be Magneton. Magneton's good. Real quick, how do you feel about a Magnezone, Dasai? Because it's a very different look from Magneton and Magnemite. Don't like it? Fair enough. It's a very different look. Good stats. Fair enough. Like, I get it. They're supposed to have fused together. Whereas Rhyperior kind of evolves the look a bit better. Hold on. Keep this going. For starters with Johto, I think I always went Chikorita because I like the design. Though I think Bayleaf looks way cooler than Meganium. Mostly because I think it has such a different, like, the color scheme is different. I like the color scheme a lot better because it's like a tan yellow base color, and then you have green around it, which I think complements it a lot better than the pink flower on Meganium. Cyndaquil is also a cutie, and I think that's the one that is probably the most consistent. Like clearly, it is literally the same colors. Well, okay. No, it is not the most consistent. Because I think Cyndaquil and Quilava have a different vibe than Typhlosion, which becomes really angry. Yeah, Quilava has some good, like rambunctious energy still. I feel like that is lost entirely with Typhlosion. Totodile is the best of its line. I love the look of Totodile. I feel like I was never a Totodile person back then, but here's the thing. Yeah, Crocodile is fun, but Totodile is best. Because Totodile has, like, rambunctious energy all throughout, right? And I feel like that consists with its line. Like, for Alligator is, like, still... Like, it's still a silly dude. It's just terrifying. Like, not by anything of its own, like, choosing. It's just big. And, like, having a big alligator, scary. For being honest, a lot of the Joe designs just don't speak to me at all. Not that they're bad, they're just kind of like exists. Like, okay, weirdly enough, because back with you know, we kind of gave it like I did not really like the era of video games where everything was like faded, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there's a bit of that with red and blue, but with gold and silver, those looks, like gold, silver, like those color schemes with kind of like the faded, sketched out design that Pokemon had back in the day, which I still like, but just combined with those colors, it made that game feel older than it actually was to me. And it always made me feel like I was in like a dentist's office. So I don't actually have a lot of good memories of like this era of Pokemon, weirdly enough. At least design-wise. Like, not like I don't know. Let's see. Like, Mary Flaffy Ampharos is always going to be a top tier design for me, right? Always. Sudowoodo is good. You love the line in general. It's a good line. It's a solid line. It's a solid line, and also it has a different look every time, right? Like, that's what you want. You want Pokemon that look either the same throughout or interesting designs all throughout the evolutionary line, but still a through line through it. That was a long sentence. Blossom's good. I think the thing about Blossom is that they are smaller than Gloom, which always confused me. There's Politoed. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of these designs are okay. Oh, Espeon Umbreon, though. What above Sudowoodo? Azumarill? Yeah. Oh, if we want to talk about stats, Belly Drum Azumarill. Oof. Got a new desk setup. Congrats, Iori. I know you, Dosai. Those meta strats. Oh, that's scary. Espeon Umbreon, really good designs. I think I prefer Umbreon. You think you prefer Umbreon too? Between those two, yeah. Oh, Dasai. Is Fortress? No, I'm thinking of the other one. Never mind. The other cocoon thing, pinecone thing. Look at that guy. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, not a lot of these were doing it for me. Ah, Scizor. I'm thinking Ferrothorn, you're right. Sneasel was okay. Skarmory was rad. Skarmory always had like a cool like modernness to me that I always thought it was Gen 3. Corsola you really liked? I like Corsola too. It's understated, I think. Skarmory carried your Emerald game. It's a good Pokemon. Good tanky bird. Like, I want to say the concepts got better in Johto. The concepts were more than just animal for the most part. Like, Smeargle is an amazing Pokemon. Maybe not... it's amazing competitively wise, too. It's just... a wild card. I like wild cards. This is hard. I think for my favorite Pokemon of this gen, I'd have to give it to... Not quite where we are with a almost humanoid design. Yeah, because I feel like once you go full human, it's like... I don't know. I still like the idea that these are animals in nature. To some degree. Yeah, I think my fave this generation has to be... Ampharos. It's Ampharos. Ledian's alright. Yeah, it's Ampharos. No doubt. Ampharos. Wobbuffet hands down. Oh my god. Thus, I am starting to learn much about your Pokemon preferences. How competitive are you with these games? I want to know. Do you have a competitive team? Do you Eevee train? I guess they made Eevee training more of a thing. Ooh, you played competitive for a while. Yeah, you did for one gen. As did I. Alright. Oh, I was slacking. I was laying down a bit. You had a Wobbuffet Destiny Bond Beam team. God. That's kind of what I miss about playing Pokemon. I do want to get the new one. I probably will. I do want to get back into it. This generation, though, this is one I always consider the rad generation because I feel like they tossed out a lot of old conventions and just went for a pure design, which is like... I guess if Hoenn, best gen, I have a weirdness with Hoenn, right? The thing about me and Hoenn is that I didn't really think much of it at the time. But when it came to like the presentation of Hoenn and everything else, I feel like these design sensibilities, not of the Pokemon, but more so the advertising, were very much ingrained into my memory as just, this is the 2000s look. This is how the 2000s are. You like the colors red? You like the colors blue? Or here they are at max saturation, and this is going to be the next 10 years of our lives together. Well, more so 7 years, I guess. Because once we hit Wii era, I feel like we kind of dipped out of that, and it was becoming very white. Not to mention they tripled down on the trumpets. That was glorious. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, you're right. The music in Hoenn is probably the most iconic for me. It's a toss-up between that and Black and White. Okay, let's go. I'll do... Okay, what about this? I'll do the starters. I'll talk about my experience with the starters, and then I will just move... I'll skim. Okay, Black and White is very good. The music, yeah. All right, Trico. The grass starters are always the starters I overlook at the time, and then as an adult, I'm just like, yeah, this is probably the coolest one for me. Grovyle, way better than Sceptile. That is my mystery dungeon bias. I went with Torchic because of course I did. Look at it. Though, you know, now that I'm older, Mudkip's right there. The chicken bouncer. No, you're right. Oh no. I was born. I was destined to be a bouncer, apparently. I thought Zigzagoon was cute. I thought, yeah, I don't know. I like Zigzagoon and Poochyena a lot. I don't like Mightyena and Linoon as much. Yeah, I'm skipping. Oh, Ludicolo. Like, Zigzagoon was a super fun Pokemon, but you're a little salty. Were they the bane of your existence early game? Because you were trying to get the hidden ability for so long. Oh, Dasai. They're there. I think C-Dot is cool. Lotad is probably one of... I like the look of Lotad a lot. C-Dot line's okay. I really like it. Tailo, Swellow... See, this is one of the evolutions that's just like... same but bigger. You know? Which is like... good in sense of evolution, but I feel like it doesn't really give me much. Wingull Pelipper, on the other hand, that is like transcending species. It's alright, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, Wingull's cute, and I think Pelipper is just a good guy. Yeah. Like, I really like Wingull's eyes, because they're just like little lines. Anyway. It's so silly, and Sock Up Swallow... I completely forgot about the fact that they had their own little gimmick. Wow, yeah, you're right. It is. That was such a fun gimmick. So I really like the Ralts Curlia Gardevoir line, but I feel like I can't really talk about that now that the internet exists. Okay, I really like Breloom or Gardevoir. Yeah. Like, I understand, right? Like, I understand the popularity. I get it. And let's be real, Pokemon has... They will never admit to it, but they have been banking on Gardevoir being popular. But, you know. Breloom's cool. Punchy boy. I like Vigoroth. Slackoth and Slacking, they're okay. I feel like I only really hear people talking about Slacking in terms of complaining about its ability, but it's like, that's funny. I can never get a Shedinja for the longest time. I had no idea how to get one. Because everything about Shedinja seemed like a meme, right? Like, you would look online and it was just like, yeah, have Ninjask in your... Like, involve a Nincada, but have an open slot. It's like, what do you mean? That's not how Pokemon works. Shut up. Whismur was okay. I like Loudred. Once you get to Exploud, You wish its typing was a little better to take advantage of its ability? Yeah. Azurill, I think, was cute. I think it was a cute design. Mawile. Mawile was something I only appreciated later in life. Aron, though. Aron, Laron, and Aggron. My shit. That's my brand. This is where I jumped onto the steel train. Electrike is a very, I associate this color scheme very much so with this design. All-time favorite behind Metagross would be Aggron. You are indeed a steel person, Dasai. Yeah, Electrike and Manectric are very much what I think of color scheme-wise of this era. Plusle and Minun. I would like them a lot more if there was not another duo in this generation with their color scheme that I like way better. Roselia is good. Gulpin, nope, not falling for that. Wailord's big. Sharpedo was kind of cool. I think Sharpedo was like a funny Pokemon. I keep forgetting Torkoal is this generation. Torkoal reads to me like a gold and silver Pokemon. Oh shit! Oh, I forgot about the Flygon line. Oh god. Ugh. Oh man. See, the thing with Flygon, right, is that you think it's a dragonfly, and it is, but like, they don't have the weird dragonfly eyes. Those are basically like goggles, which is also very much what I associate with this generation. Howard has so many lines you would say, dude, that looks so cool. Yeah, that's kind of what they're going for, right? Like, again, 2000s radical era. Like, I know some people have problems with it. I don't know. I embrace the 2000s. If I embrace the 90s for what they like, what the tone was back then, I'm embracing the 2000s as well. It fits too because Sandstorm, Area, and Hoenn goggles are literally something you need. You think, yeah, you're completely right. The goggles actually had a use. Whenever I look at Swablu Altaria, I just think of Alira now. Like that, she is literally just an Altaria. Mega Altaria. How does that look again? Yeah, what? This is Alira Pandora. You can't unsee it. Dude, her new outfit basically cemented it in my book. Ah, Corphish. Of all the crabs, Corphish might be my favorite. Corporate asks you the difference. Can't spot one. I like this type of eye. Corphish, you want to fight in Monster Hunter? Corphish was one of those ones where, like, it evolving into Crawdons, I was okay with. Because it's, like, scary, but it still looks like Corphish. But not enough to where it's like a crabby Kingler situation. People sleep on Anorith. I like Anorith. Alright, let's go fast. Duskull. Oh my god, there's so many Pokemon in this generation. There's your boy. Out of all the Reggies, I think I like Reggie Ice. Okay, Latios. I've already made my feelings known. They are my favorite of this generation, hands down. Registeel. Yeah, definitely getting very strong patterns from you, Dasai. Alright. I went with Chimchar, not knowing that this would be the start of the firefighting verse. But look, no, I did. I feel like I would have gone with Turtwig. Now. Empoleon's still good, though. Ugh, hold on. Moving things around. Starly, Staravia, Staraptor. Yeah. Staraptor's good. Though I feel like with Starly and Staravia, like not enough changes. Like Staraptor, I at least appreciated it because it finally takes as a Hoge game to the logical conclusion. I appreciate me a good, like, 90-degree Ahoge. Hold on. Shanks. I feel like I can't look at Shanks the same after Arceus. Granitos. I like the color scheme of blue and black. But Shieldon is probably the better design for me. Rampardos is the better evolution, design-wise, to me. Oh, Vespiquen was so cool. Oh, is Vespiquen in a fighting game? Because I want her in a fighting game. Bastiodon for big shield face. You're right, it is basically a shield. Pachirisu. Enjoy. All right, the Garchomp. Riolu. You love Drifblim. I do like a floaty boy. Floaty, concerning boy. Riolu should be in Smash. Like I said, Echo Fighter. I could see that. That'd be funny. Like a Pichu equivalent. I'm sure people would love that. I guess they could trade in like the if they did that, I could see them trading in the aura for just straight up brawler. Togekiss was also really cool. Electivire, Magmar, I thought were interesting designs. Oh, there's Rhyperior. Sorry. Like, this is where they were getting kind of cool with, like, old school designs. And then you got Licky. You liked your Electivire more. Like, they seem like good additions to that line. Yanmega. Gallade. Dusknoir, I think, is kind of a cool design. Because I really like Duskull. So seeing, like, that get, like, a third was kind of cool. Dusclops, I could go either way. It honestly depends on how they're drawn. I didn't realize his body was a mouth until later gens. It's terrifying. Like, actually terrifying. Rotom was a favorite too. Yeah. Rotom wasn't a legendary, right? They were just rare. Like, there's just one per game. I prefer Dialga over Palkia, but honestly, it's kind of a close one for me. Shaman was a cool Pokemon though. Now you agree? Fair. All right, I'm gonna stop it with Gen 5, I think, because I feel like Gen 5 is like one of my favorites, and probably the last big Pokemon like lineup. If you had a pet out of any Pokemon in the universe, it would be a Shaman. That's basically a Chia pet at that point, right? Which I am angry that they have never made a Shaman Chia pet, because that makes sense. Okay. I went with Oshawott because everyone was making fun of Oshawott, and I went with I liked it. I liked it. I think I like Duat, but I also like Samurott. The fact that it is on 4 legs is something that I miss, right? Like, I was disappointed at the time, but whatever, man. Like, some Pokemon can become 4-legged. It's fine. No problem. More meaning cell lurk. Yeah, no problem at all. Just gonna close this up and then probably end stream. I was thinking about like just popping into Discord servers I'm in just to like talk. So I don't know. I'll see. Gotta go. Yeah, no problem, Dasai. Hope you survive your meetings. Hertier's a good one. Lillipup, Hertier, Stoutland, not a bad lineup. Purloin, Liepard. It depends on if Purloin is on, like, is bipedal or not, because sometimes they are, and it's weird. I do like the monkeys. I don't care what anyone says. I like the monkeys. Maybe not the evolved forms as much, but the original monkeys are cute. I feel like if I say anything bad about Muna or Musharna, Kite would kill me. So, they're okay. Pidove looks like a bird. I really like Roggenrola. Like, the Gigalith line was actually pretty cool. Oh, Drillbur! Excadrill! This was my big drill phase. I really like drills. I wonder what could have influenced that. Scolipede. I feel like Scolipede was meta for some reason. I don't remember why. Oh, Whimsicott. Oh, I loved Cottonee and Whimsicott. I like them way more than Lilligant. Oh, right. It was... Never mind. I liked Excadrill. I had an Excadrill, and I also had a Crocodile on my team. I wonder what could have influenced that. Really do. Darmanitan was a cool design with a cool gimmick, but I never could figure it out. Crustle just gives me Pokemon Unite War flashbacks now, so... Caracosta was just a turtle, which I kind of enjoyed. I don't have much of a problem with Garbodor as everyone else does. I don't know, I think the idea of sentient trash is just it's smart, it's funny. Zorua though, oh my god, I had so much fun with Zoroark and tricking people in the online of this game. Like, the thing about Zoroark is that they impersonate the last slot in your party, and it's just fun. It's fun tricking people. Oh, Rayunculus was a cool guy. I like Vanillix. I like the snow cones. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot for some reason now. I like Ducklet a lot more than I like Swanna. Deerling was a cool gimmick too. The fact that they changed with the seasons. Did they change with the seasons, or did it depend on when you caught them that they would say that way? I can't remember anymore. I think Emolga, I like Emolga a lot more than Pachirisu. Oh, okay, so, oh shit, where's the other one? Wait, oh my god. Oh, okay, Excelgor and Escavalier. They are one of the best Pokemon to me in terms of evolution, because what they do is you have to trade a Carablast for a Shelmet, and they trade the shell, so one of them becomes really tanky and becomes Escavalier, whereas the other one loses the shell and becomes Excelgor, which is a ninja. Like, Joltik's iconic. Ferrothorn's iconic for different reasons. Litwick, Lampent, Genlure, kind of the cooler Pokemon in my opinion. Cooler ghost Pokemon. Haxorus was cool, but never really got to Garchomp levels of, like, popularity. Which is weird, because I like Haxorus a lot more. Oh, Golurk hits something for me, and it's just like, I like big, bulky. It reminds me of Mecha, right? Bisharp, like, quite literally edgy, but I love it. Oh, Rufflet. If I said I like Ruffling Braviary, no one would say anything, right? I'm not patriotic, I swear. But okay, to be honest, I love Vlabi's design. Mandibuzz is also really cool. But Vlabi having a skull as a diaper, that's cute. I was a Reshiram guy. I know. Don't say anything. I was a Reshiram guy. Alright, I think that'll be it for that. Thanks for joining me talking about voice actors, guys. Really fun, interesting talk about voice actors. Let me just delete that. Alright. Well, that's kind of all the time I have for this. I mean, I'm still gonna be around, but I want to get some rest and maybe not talk about Pokemon. But how about we raid someone? It's been a while since I've done that, I think. And I have just the person. I think they just started. Do you guys like Mario Kart? Because we will be raiding Eyes again. Eyes Real. Because they're a cool guy, and I think I could learn a lot from them. And also Mario Kart. So, thank you guys for coming. It means a lot every time, even when I'm talking about weird things like Pokemon or Sonic lore. But yeah, thanks for coming. I'll get back to you when I have something else to do. I might do something tomorrow, too. I don't know. It all really depends. Maybe more Splatoon. Alright. I've been Stormcaster, and until next time, I gotta bounce. I keep doing like a little salute, like a little, like, not like a patriotic salute, like an ocelot, like, hand flinging thing. And it always interferes with the tracking, so I should probably do that with my other hand. Anyway, stay awesome. You stay awesome, Yuri. I hope you all have a good day. And, you know, I might talk to some of you guys later. I don't know. It depends. But somehow I'm feeling and how brave I am. As Squid Sisters in Splatoon 1 say, stay fresh! I'll talk to you guys later. Have fun.